I got on here today.
Okay, Audrey,
Yes.
a man dating a transgender woman is straight. You agree with that statement, Katerina? You agree with that statement?
Your eyes. I feel like if a man, I feel like this is my stance. I feel like a trans woman is a woman, and I don't think that means they're gay. And I think a lot of people who date trans women don't think they're gay.
I think they're gay.
And that's your opinion. That's fine.
Okay, wait, like full surgery, everything's done.
That's what I'm saying. They're fully done, and they're like that. That
doesn't.
point, because their brain is a man and their vagina's fake.
No comment.
They are a man, so their chromosomes are XY, and you can't change that. And even if they get the surgery to have,
do you respect trans individuals? Like, you might think it's a man,
I think it's a mental illness.
So I think, because okay. So you don't think think it's a real thing though? Like
It's a real mental illness, yeah.
You think it's just a mental illness, not
gender dysphoria. Yeah, I think it's a psychological disorder for sure, and I think our culture is perpetuating it.
But back in the day, it was like it was like, I don't know how to explain. Like, now it's so out there, public. Like, teachers are teaching like those things. Not okay, in my opinion. I think that is just ridiculous to be teaching them so young. But I also believe, I have a friend who, before all this stuff was out there, she transitioned. Like, one summer she just left and then came back, and she came as a boy. And I think, like, she didn't even know all these things that back then. You know what I mean? You don't get the. Today it's all over, like the phone, in school. Like, back then it wasn't like that, and so I feel like that's how.
Still
felt.
a mental illness, but the contagion is now spread through social media.
Yeah, that's a debate I don't really want to get into, but that's very.
I think you're right when it comes down to. Sorry if anyone is against this, but if like people think of themselves as like animals, like they think they're like a cat or whatever. Yeah, I think you're right in like that sense. But when it comes to like different genders, I don't think so.
Absolutely, it is.
But it's like a medical base. Like, there's lots of research about it. Like, that's the thing. Like, people calling how she's dressed up now, the Zers, them, like that stuff. I don't play with, because that's like crazy. Just be calling yourself whatever you want. But I do think being transgender is an actual medical thing. That is, like, do you know what Blair White is?
Yeah.
I
know him.
See, that's like a disrespect. Like, I feel like even
it's a man.
Okay, I understand.
don't abide by. I'm not going to allow people to police my language, because language reflects reality. And we talked about the word. We talked about the importance of language and how we're co-creators. I'm not going to allow people to dictate the language so that I live in a false reality.
Do you know who Caitlyn Jenner is?
Yeah, Bruce.
Let's skip this segment, please.
Next subject.
Well, it's because, like, I don't agree, and I think you're allowed to feel however you want, but I also feel like I'm very big about respecting people. I think when it comes to, like, the whole children thing, how we're pushing on our children, that stuff needs to be stopped. But I also feel like there's two separate things. Like, someone can be a transgender person, and that's a real thing. But then there's opposite case of where there's kids, like, asking for surgeries to do all those things, and that's not okay either. Like, I think there's two sides of it.
Obviously, you have to be a certain age to fully come up with a decision, because you can't be like 5 years old being like, I want to be a girl.
No, actually, they're on hormone blockers as they are.
No, I mean, like, you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but they're still blocking them to have puberty, and therefore totally altering their biology forever, and often because they go on hormone blockers before puberty, like, there's been cases where they can't climax. They have all these long-term problems because of it. And so the fact that parents are even able to abuse their children in the name of virtue signaling, piety signaling, look, I have a trans child, and what are the chances that one woman has 3 trans children? Well, clearly this is all being orchestrated, and that this is a social contagion, and we're destroying people. And the fact that people are okay with young people getting hormone blockers and not going through puberty and allowing them, because everybody when they're young has weird ideas and can be incredibly influenced. Nobody can make that decision. Just because a boy plays with something that's the color pink does not mean that they're signaling that they're actually think
ridiculous.
They're a girl.
That's what's happening now. I feel like back then, like, when my friend in middle school, when they transitioned, it was way more like, I feel like that was their decision. They were feeling those thoughts and went to a doctor and went to a therapist, because it's not a thing nowadays that you go to a teacher and the teacher's like, well, nowadays it's like the teacher's like, yes, you are this, and they confirm that, and without them being like, maybe you should talk to your parents or this and that, they're kind of putting it in their head, Back then it wasn't a thing like that. So I feel like I've seen it firsthand, like, where people actually, and he is still how he is now, and that's how he feels.
Right.
And I feel like I just want to respect that. You know, if I'm not in their body. I can't tell how they feel. I can't say that that's not real. You know what I mean? That's their reality to them. And
sorry.
Go ahead.
So actually, one of the pranks that I did, I was dressed up like this, and I asked people, should we ban puberty blockers? And most people agreed that we shouldn't ban puberty blockers. And,
See, that's what I'm saying is the end of both spectrums. Like, I don't think that's okay. I don't think kids like doing that stuff very young, because there's lots of detransitioner people and like people who regret it in the future, I think. But I also believe that people who are transgender is a real thing. Also, because I follow Blair White and I do see that she has the perspective of both sides, you know, and she believes that this is a real thing that she is, and she also understands. And
some people believe they're an animal.
I'm
Are you
friends with
against,
like a whole trans community, and I love transgenders.
are you against gay people as well?
When you say
I
against
do.
gay
I
people, am
love
I
them.
against
They're the
homosexuality?
best.
Of course.
So you think it's a sin, and you?
Of course.
Okay, and then so your day to day, like, are you judging gay people? Like, would you be friends with a gay person?
I don't see why I.
Wouldn't?
I mean, what do you mean be friends? Am
No,
I
I'm
going to be
saying, like, where does
cordial?
where
I'll
does
be
the line
cordial
cross?
to
Like,
a gay
would you be friends
person.
with
I'm saying, are you gonna openly
I
offend
don't know
them?
if we'd have much in common.
Wait, I have
Did you ever
more
run
after
track?
the manslaughter? Gay people.
What?
Say what?
What do you have?
I just like went through this crazy relationship with a gay guy. He's like a quite like well-known actor, and I thought that he was gay. I mean, he slid in my DMs, was like, "You slay, bae." I'm like, he's obviously gay. I literally was like on the phone with him. He sounds like he has like a higher pitched voice than me, and just very feminine. And like he made like, you know, he was obviously gay and like made himself seem like he was gay for a long time. And then literally the other day he confessed his love to me on the phone and asked me to be his girlfriend.
So he's not
He's
gay.
not gay. The whole time he was just
He was
like,
giving gay, but he.
but no, he like pretended to be gay.
You were gay fish.
To be like around me. And then
Get
it
invited
was,
to the sleepover.
Yeah, it sounds pretty gay for him to do that. And I mean, is there a question behind that? I don't even know what to
I
say.
think he's just trying to say a statement.
I just wanted to say that.
So he was. So he
She just
wasn't
wants to
gay.
talk, and I love that for her.
So he wasn't gay.
He wasn't gay. He was literally pretending to be gay to like hang out with me. It was so weird. Very weird.
He was a gay fish like
Do you strictly
Kanye.
feel your ways about these things because of the Bible?
I mean,
this
yeah,
what-
I believe God revealed himself through scripture.
So
Absolutely.
did you feel like this way through your whole life? Like, did you always think that, like before? 'cause you
Did
said
I always have an innate repulsion to see like gay
Repulsion?
men? Yeah, I'm repulsed by it.
you're repulsed by gay.
Yeah, I mean, at most people, I mean, there's like multiple
Not
studies
most
that
people.
Yeah.
heterosexual men, there's been multiple studies done on this regarding statistics and the repulsive level that people feel when they see certain things. And two men kissing, heterosexual men, find that one of the most repulsive images to look at. And
I was
that's
watching-
innate. That's in our biology.
Yeah, was watching a thing that someone was saying how gay men, it's like they're more repulsed by that than gay women. Like, I feel like, and stuff like that. I don't know. There's something about men being gay that's like, I feel like shamed on more than women being gay. I'm more about like letting everyone love who they want to love, and
Free
because
love.
is marriage like the end thing? Because yours are like marriage,
Yeah.
kids. Like, is it okay like to not want that? Like, why is that such a end goal to you? Like, why is that?
That to me, that's the point of relationship, long-term
I
relationships.
feel like you need like just a really flamboyantly gay like best friend.
I don't see how that would. No, I don't need
I think
that
you guys
at
would get
all.
along.
I don't need that at all.
But what is it about being gay that's so bad to you? Like, what is it? Just the fact that it's in the Bible and they say, like, personally, without the Bible aside, like your
Yeah.
personal opinion on that and why that
Well, my
is
personal opinion is going to be informed by my personal
by
beliefs.
your religion.
Yeah.
You're saying that that's what's rooted by it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's contrary to nature. It's repulsive. There's no fecundity to it. Like, it can't reproduce life. And the point of sex and why it's pleasurable, I believe God made it that way for the production of life. And so, again, it's just a basic violation of like what sex was intended for.
And
And
sex is
I
only
see it
for
as a
that?
perversion, and the more that these perversions are normalized, it perverts all of our society. And so I don't see. I know the slippery slope is a logical fallacy, but if there ever is an example of a slippery slope, homosexuality wasn't even legalized, gay marriage, till 2012, 2014, so the Obama era, and look at where we're at. So what are we, 13 years later, and now we're talking about hormone blockers for children? Like, that's a slippery slope, but that's actually a real example where everybody said, hey, once we allow this redefining of what marriage is between a man and a woman for the production of children, we redefined it. And they said, oh, well, we just want to get married. Well, most gay people actually don't want to get married. And what we see now is just a total slippery slope of perversion that has plagued Western civilization.
So what do you think of gay people just being there?
Just for the sake of time, I do have to move it on. But Lucy, you did also, for 23, wrong to refuse to date a transgender person because they are trans. And you agree with that.
Can you read it again? Sorry.
Okay, so for example, let's say I didn't want to date a transgender woman. You think that would be wrong?
Yeah, like, why not?
Because
like, why wouldn't it?
That's a man.
Oh, you believe that too?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Are you surprised?
No, not really. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
not.
I get back and forth.
Okay, well, let me ask you: Is a transgender woman a male?
See, I am also about realistic, because even like Blair Wright says, like, at the end of the day, like, her genetics, like, but I'm respectful, like, her, I'm gonna call her because that's how she wants to be portrayed. But also, I understand, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm all about respect. Like, unless it's
you
crossing.
can be respectful.
No, do you go? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're, and I don't think it's okay.
You're asking
you're
if
not
it's
being
right
respectful.
Or if
Like,
it's wrong for a straight man to go for a transgender woman.
No. Well, is it wrong to refuse to date a transgender person because they're trans?
no.
I mean, you're asking me.
Yeah, asking you.
So I don't think
but you
it
agree
is.
with that. You think it is wrong.
No,
You think
mean,
it is wrong?
I think
Or you
it is
think why
wrong.
not?
Yeah, like why not? But like
Because they have
also
a
like
penis.
like,
I don't want to date somebody who has a
Right.
penis.
But what if they
or
had
a-
the surgery so that they don't have it?
Okay, sure. Don't want to date somebody who's ever had a penis.
Because like if they tell you that like, hey, like, I'm transgender and you're into that, like why would you
Also, it's not a vagina.
go into that?
That is not pussy. That's not pussy.
See, like, but then it also goes deeper level. Like, obviously, they can't reproduce, and they can't. There's bigger. Like, that's why I didn't write yes, because I understand it's not. I don't think it's transphobic to not want to date a transgender, even if you are transphobic. I don't know, whatever. But
What does
I'm
that
saying,
mean? I don't have an irrational fear of trans people. Phobia is
No, I'm
like
not
an
saying
irrational.
you, I'm
I know, but in
saying-
general, that I just hate how like homophobia, transphobia, like society creates these words, which the etymology of it means an irrational fear.
Yeah, I'm
I
using
don't
the
have an
word that
irrational fear
is-
of a gay person or a trans person. I have a moral standard that I believe these things are wrong and they're deleterious to our society.
So they should just all hide and fake their feelings
That's
just for
what I'm saying.
people
I
who don't
think
believe in
if we
it?
lived in a better civilization, I don't think this would even come up as a major problem. And are there people that were, presented themselves in other ways? Yeah. If you look into the history of temple prostitutes in various pagan societies, there would be young boys that would sometimes be castrated. They would be eunuchs, and then they would be a temple prostitute, and they would present as a woman. Yeah. Has that happened in history? Of course. And then people want to say, yeah, but some people are born like androgynous. Okay, that's still an exception to the rule. The vast majority of us are not androgynous or hermaphrodites.
We should ask the blue-haired lady. What do you think?
not lady,
She also has her septum pierced. It's
not
very
not
typical.
lady.
Well, I think it's incredibly transphobic if you're not willing to date trans people, obviously.
What do you think, though, for realsies?
No, I think you must be like, what's it called, bisexual if you want to date someone who is, transgender.
Otherwise known as gay.
Yeah, because like you're attracted to both. You're attracted to both male and female, so you're
What-
obviously bisexual.
What going around the table? What is a woman? Starting with you.
Oh my god.
No, we're not doing
No, I'm not.
Nick,
even
could you
gonna-
close the door? What do you mean?
I mean, I don't want to get into this.
What is a woman?
I'm not going to get. I just want the I'm not going to get into it.
answer-
A biological
wait, do you want it to be
female
answered?
that was
I
born.
want what you believe. Go ahead.
I'm just not even answering this question.
Why
I
is
feel like
that?
it just goes in loops. This question is very circular, and I don't want to.
What is a woman?
A magical creature. That's what she is.
No, but what is?
I don't know, and I don't want to get into this. Okay, and I'm not debating
Why?
with him about if it's a woman or
debate.
not.
I'm
Because
like.
he is very educated, and I am not going to
Okay,
get
well,
into
I'm
that with
stupid.
the big words.
Okay, debate me.
He uses
Yeah.
too many big words. You can't fight with him.
All right, don't debate. Then debate
Like
me.
my brain doesn't even have the.
He'll sit
room
this one
to,
out.
like-
Like,
Sit it
You
out.
like get off on that, like debating. Like you love that. Are you like a little bit of a masochist?
Not a mess.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Probably
Fuck,
not.
I don't get
know.
off on
That
it.
was Satan.
Just gives me a
No.
headache.
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
Do you want to talk about
What
grape
is a
again?
woman?
I'm not answering that question. I'm not like debating that right now.
What is a woman?
A woman is a woman.
I mean, isn't it mind bending? I'm sorry, did I step on your foot? Isn't it mind bending that even you are like have an aversion to answering that question? Like that's such a basic question.
I understand, but like also I'm on their side of like I believe that there's people who feel that way, that they're trans, and I respect people. So if I feel like answering this question, and I understand that this shouldn't even be a question. Like this is crazy. Like that this is a question that I even have to think about or whatever because the people what they would say. Like I understand that. I can see both views.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't want to just I respect everyone and I be whoever the fuck you want to be.
All right, I'll ask the rest of the panel. Chloe, Sea Dog, what is a woman?
When you're born with a coochie and you can like give birth.
Yes.
All right. Lindsay, what is a woman?
See, it's such a
I like Chloe's response. I'm copping hers.
Well, put it in your own words.
Oh
then.
my gosh. Okay.
Coochie.
I think that it goes back to your DNA and the chromosomes, obviously. So you can't change that.
Okay.
You can change the the genitalia, obviously.
Katerina?
I agree.
But the DNA itself, yeah.
Katerina, what is a woman?
I think it's different in everyone's eyes.
What? How about your eyes? What is a woman?
It's, I don't know, in every woman it's different.
The fuck?
Yeah, I can't even answer that.
She's Canadian. She's gonna get thrown in prison if she dares say what's it called, a thought crime or something.
Yeah, hate speech.
What
Wait,
is
you
a
guys
woman?
put people in jail way more than Canadians.
A woman is a
thought
person
crimes?
with a vagina.
Yeah.
All right, okay, but hold on,
You
wait, I'm
got
not
it
gonna let
there.
you get away with that one. Do you think is a neo-vagina a vagina?
I'm sorry?
A neo-vagina. That's what they call the
If they pay
bottom
for it.
surgery thing or whatever.
Oh, the.
Like so, a transgender woman who has
well,
a
I mean,
vagina.
if they turn it into a vagina, what else would you call
Can we
it?
put air quotes around vagina?
What if it had a long labia? Would you approve?
No, no.
Really?
That would just be like skin from the. Yeah.
What if it was like the best you've ever
Not into
seen?
No.
I think it's a person.
It's not. That's not
a person
pussy.
with a
It's not
coochie.
pussy.
Do they make like
But it
fallopian
is.
tubes when they do that?
Babe, no,
No,
they're not.
that's a good
That's a
question.
good question?
Good question, Chloe. But no.
Such a good question.
What is a woman?
A woman is a human being.
Is a what?
Is a human being.
But a man is also a human
Yes,
being. So
you're
what's the
right.
difference between a man and a woman? What is a woman?
Genitalia,
Okay, so a woman is what?
a vagina.
Is she? A woman is a vagina. Okay.
No, she has a vagina.
All right. What about you? You got to pull your hair down a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
sure. A woman is anyone who doesn't identify as a man.
That's the best answer.
wait. Oh wait, hold on. No, give it. Okay, wait. Give us your feminist answer, then
That's what the feminist
and then
answer.
this give us
If
your
you
real
don't
answer.
identify as a man, then you're a woman.
What? That's the first time I heard that. What's the real answer then?
2X chromosomes.
Okay, tilt your mic down just a teeny
Yeah,
bit.
2X chromosomes.
Grab it from back here. Just tilt it down. What about you?
A woman is someone that was born as a biological female with reproductive organs, and yeah.
All right.
Wait, I have a
And
question.
Don't you feel though that the trans identity, like the idea that a man can become a trans woman, it diminishes the unique capacity of what you guys have. Like you guys are able to do something that we as men cannot do, and that's give birth. And you have all these innate characteristics that men typically don't have. And the fact that you're willing to redefine who you are as women to allow men to lump into your category totally diminishes the uniqueness of you, and really you guys are just like flesh objects, right? Because that's really what the trans but that's what the trans woman is, right? You can't reproduce. He doesn't even have the capacity to live as a woman, and yet by redefining it, you guys all diminish yourselves by going along with it.
But like, what about people? Because there's been cases where people are born with both like male and female
That's an
parts.
exception. That's why I brought up with androgyny and hermaphrodism, and how you think that's really frequent. You think there's like there'd be a whole country of people that just have both parts?
Well,
we
no,
just
but
put
if
them
they
all
choose to be a girl, then you're going to be like, well, no, you're both.
and but their chromosomes determine that, right? So they may be born with like a small penis or something like that, but they're whatever their chromosomes are, that's the way that they're going to then reconstruct their genitalia. That's typically how that goes. So it's not like every person who's born intersex just lives their life as intersex. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was possible. It's really weird.
Everything's possible.
Oh my God.
All right, moving on to the next thing. Guys, if you want $69 TTS, we're going to batch them a little bit just to get through some of the questionnaire. But we do see them. They are coming through $69 TTS. So we have, okay, hold on. Lucy, the statement is, women are the primary victims of war, not men, to which you agree. Why is that?
Can you read it again? Sorry, I have like half a brain cell right now.
Women are the primary victims of war, not men. You agree. Why is that?
I just agreed to it to piss you off.
Okay. Good job. I'm so angry.
I can't debate that right now. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right,
of
we
words.
have Audrey. Women do not have equal rights to men in the USA.
Did I say? The only thing is bodily autonomy. If they believe that and stuff, but everything else, I think we have the same rights.
Did you believe in bodily autonomy in 2020 and 2021?
Wait, what are you asking?
I'm talking about particular medical...
the Fauci-ouchie?
Yeah, particular medical...
Fauci-ouchie.
Yes, so the jab, the GB jab, the
I
things
don't
that...
know.
So my
Understood.
point is there's been an obvious contradiction...
Chloe, can you take
An obvious contradiction within the women that are typically pro-abortion, because it's always my body, my choice. And then when it came down to 2020, 2021, all of a sudden the people who didn't want to take these medical measures, they didn't have a choice in the matter. And that's a fundamental contradiction. So the same people, and typically the people that were in favor of abortion were typically more in favor of also getting the jab. And the conservative communities typically were less in favor of getting it. So my point is, were you in favor, were you mad that people maybe didn't get it? Or you say my body, my choice, and my curiosity is, does that mean that you also held that opinion during that time,
No,
2020?
I'm not like full on just like pro-abortion. Like everyone should be doing that. I'm just more like the whole right of it to be taken away completely is more like for medical bases and like for emergency stuff. And, you know, I feel like also people who have like, there's people who get abortions like all the time. Like just like, it's like nothing, like it's a weekend activity. Like that's not okay either. Like I know, but I also feel like that right should be allowed for them.
Well, hold on. Let's get back to the actual statement, though. Women do not have equal rights to men in the USA.
No, that's what I was saying. You were saying that, and I explained that that's the only thing, and everything
Just
else.
abortion, everything. Okay, there's
Yeah.
not. Okay, all right.
I feel like
And then you also circled that women do not have equal rights to men in the USA. Lucy, why do you agree?
Overall, I think that like, as far as like wages and stuff go, I still think that if
Okay,
you have like the
wage
same
gap.
level of job, I feel like.
Why you
You're
guys
not
are in
getting
the
paid as much.
adult entertainment industry? Do women or men
Oh
get
no, I
paid
wasn't
more?
really talking about that. That's just,
That's okay. That industry, it's okay for there to be a wage gap in favor of women.
No, I didn't say that. But
You would agree there's a wage gap though in the porn industry, corn industry.
yeah, in the corn industry. Yeah,
don't women get paid more?
Wow. Yeah,
Or-
women do
Yeah.
get paid more.
they do. They get almost double more.
And, but then gay men, don't they make even more than women?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure, because I think even some
Possibly.
straight people even do gay porn to make more
Yeah.
money.
Well, I mean, really quick,
They're not straight then.
I did go do this.
really quick on
I did do
the.
this, but I feel like. I don't
Although
know.
Audrey, to your point though, as at least so the statement is women do not have equal rights to men in the USA. You could say and argue that as it relates to abortion, that this is a uniquely, this is kind of uniquely something that women might want to have. But I don't think it has anything to do with equal rights to men because men don't have any reproductive rights.
I get what you're saying.
So I don't think it would be evidence of an inequality that exists between men and women.
Brian
While it
might have swayed me.
While it might be uniquely some exclusive right that women want to have, men don't possess a right. So I don't think
So it
it
can't
can
be not equal, you're saying?
I don't think it can be viewed from the paradigm of unequal to men, if that makes sense.
I didn't think of it that way.
Sure. Moving on, though, just for the sake of time, Lindsay Lee, Matt Rife's girlfriend. Just kidding. Men are more privileged in society than women. How so?
I think we already discussed that pretty in depth.
Well, just really quick, reiterate. Like, what's your main argument there?
Actually, I think there's pros and cons on both sides. I think that women do have, a sense of the pretty privilege, and we do have our choice of the men out there, because more than likely they're just going to grab onto the opportunity to hook up, and we're picky. I'm
going to pull a Lindsay Lee, and I'm just going to bring this. I'm going to remove us from America. I'm going to just zoom over to Ukraine. Do you think men are more privileged in Ukraine than the women?
I'm not familiar with their marriage laws or anything.
I'm not talking about like dating or marriage.
Well, but that has to do with privilege.
It could be, I suppose, it could be, could do with privilege, but are you familiar with the war going on in Ukraine?
I am, yes.
Heard about it.
Yeah. So, at the outbreak of the war, there's martial law. Mm-hmm. All the men between the ages of 18 to, I believe it was either 60, 65, they had to remain in the country. They couldn't leave. They were probably in short time going to be involved in some degree with the military. All the women, regardless of age, could leave the country. Since you like to zoom around the globe when it's convenient for you, I will do the same thing, as this is quite convenient for my argument. I would say that women in Ukraine are more privileged because they're able to flee their country. Meanwhile, the men are drafted, and they oftentimes get abducted by these military police, and then they get pretty much a basic amount of training, and they get shipped off to the front line. Many of them end up dying.
Well, like you said, it's our duty to produce children. You got to protect the cattle, otherwise we're not going to be able to produce.
Hold on. One, are women doing this? And then two, is there like a state mandate or a draft for women to give birth?
No, but you're asking about whether, I think they're privileged. If
Who, the men or the women?
The women in Ukraine.
Yeah, they're way more privileged.
Yeah. Okay.
Like in totality. Because how can it, if you look at the experience of a lot of the men in that country and you contrast it with the experience of the women, well, the women were able to flee Ukraine. The men were forced to stay. Many of them injured in war, died in the war, soldiers. The women could leave. They could go to Stockholm, the United Kingdom. They would go to Miami. We had a girl on the show a couple months ago, Ukrainian woman. She's been kicking it in fucking Miami fucking dudes. And then her countrymen are literally dead in some trench in, I don't know where the fuck in Ukraine. And
well,
that's female privilege.
Our value is to reproduce, and if we're not around, the male race, the whole entire race will just cease to exist. So.
Oh, can I add something?
Yeah.
I have a friend who went to.
Tilt your mic down.
Yeah. I have a friend who went to Odessa, Ukraine, and she noticed she didn't see any men, some maybe boys and maybe some old men, but it's only women who are around. It's crazy. You don't see that in the normal world.
Sure. All right. We're gonna.
But no, I wanted to be in the military. I think that women and men should both be drafted. So.
All right. Quite a few of you have objections to number 12, which is. Starting with Audrey, wrong for high body count men to prefer to date low body count virgin women. Lindsay, you also agree with that statement. Katerina, you agree. Lucy, you agree. Anastasia, you agree.
Right.
Also Jordan, wrong for high body count men to prefer to date low body count virgin women. Why is it wrong?
What did you say? It's wrong to? I think it's wrong to judge for a man to want to judge someone for having a high body count if they have one, just because if they're a woman or whatever. I feel like if someone has a high body count, they should not judge or date someone in that same category. But if if a man is a virgin and I think that's okay to want someone who meets your same values or whatever.
Let's say in this example, the guy's slept with 30 women, and he's like, he wants to be with a virgin.
I don't think that's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's wrong if he judges someone who has a bigger.
He wouldn't date a woman who also has a body count of 30.
That's when it's wrong.
But he's not.
It's a preference.
That's his preference.
You have preferences.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying he has a body count of 30 and he's judging someone else. I mean, I guess it's more like, I think it's wrong, but I guess he can do it. You know what I mean? He can do it and he can have a preference, and obviously that's what he was going to date. But if he's more like talking shit about other women who have if he's talking shit about a woman who has a body count of 30, that's crazy because he has a body count of 30. Like, that's just not okay just because she's a woman. But if his end goal and he wants a virgin or whatever that's who he's going to date. That's who's going to go after, and I can't stop that or I can't judge that. But
do you think it'd make logical sense for a man who's ready to get married to pursue a younger woman that has a lower body count for the purpose of rearing children and building a family?
Yeah, I think. I mean, if they're, I don't know. I think so, but I think it's more about judging someone for it. Like he shouldn't be able to say anything about a woman having a high body count if he has one as well.
So your contention is just he can't say bad things about other girls?
I'm saying to judge someone off of something that literally you have as well. He fucked 30 girls, she fucked 30 men, and then he's going to say this woman is something because of what he has done as well. That is double-sided and doesn't make sense to me.
What if he doesn't support his previous past?
Then that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if he doesn't support his past and he wants to date a woman that's a virgin or whatever, I think that's okay. It's more about like shaming a past that he already did. Like, I don't think he should shame himself. I don't think he should shame other people. Like, if he wants to move forward and wants to say this is not my life anymore, and he wants to date someone who feels the same way as him, then that's okay. It's more about the shame. Like, he shouldn't, if he is the same thing, going through the same thing, he shouldn't be putting that on someone else just because she's a woman. Am I boring you?
No, it's just yawning. But I mean, if there's not shaming language associated, this is just something internal inside him. He's just like, I'd rather date a low body count woman or a virgin. Would you still think that that's objectionable or wrong?
I just think it's weird. Like, if he feels that way, then why does he have a high body count? You know what I mean? Like, why is he? I feel like if he feels that way morally and he feels that way about a woman, he should feel that way about himself. He shouldn't have a high body count either. And I think it's an okay thought to have. It's an okay stance to have. But to be on the opposite end of it and to have a high body count and then also saying, you can't do this, then that's just ridiculous. Like,
well, what about this framing? Somebody who yeah, I'll frame it. So let's say somebody was an alcoholic.
And
must they be beholden? Like, must they continue grabbing for the bottle, going for the bottle?
Well, I don't understand what you're saying.
You're saying that if people made previous mistakes and now they're trying to change, you're saying in a sense that they can't be critical of other people because he was once an alcoholic, so he can't be critical of other alcoholics?
Okay. Yeah, I understand that, but I just feel like it's hypocritical, and I feel like maybe it's in the way he says it. Like, if he's like, this was my lifestyle, I think he needs to be open and honest, being like, yeah, I was a little... I did this and that, and maybe you should like try to teach her.
What if the determination is his thought process is it's actually not? He doesn't think it's bad for him.
That's ridiculous.
Right, but you might say that that's hypocritical. But I'm more so looking at he just wants to date low body count or a woman who's a virgin. But he's made a determination. You would agree that we all want to get the best partner that we can get, and in his determination. And I mean, there is studies done on, promiscuity and this sort of thing. He's just like, the best partner for me would be somebody who has a low body count. Like, for example, you're overweight, but you don't want to date somebody who's overweight.
Yes.
Does that make you a hypocrite?
No, because I think that's
Practically speaking,
but
it
it's
works out better.
Yeah,
it works out
but
better.
do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what is okay? So your example is me being overweight, not wanting to date someone who's overweight. That I don't want to do that because of physical reasons, right? Not because of what the way they look.
Maybe a guy doesn't want to date somebody a girl who's fucked a lot of dudes.
But what does that have to do with like that's just like a mental
she has
note.
STDs
She
or
doesn't.
something.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This number is literally in the ethos. Like it's not even. You don't know if it's real. You don't know what it is because they could be lying unless they have an STD. You don't know how many people they've slept with. So I don't understand why that number matters unless you like have to like once you hear have to see every person that they had sex with. It's like all this. I don't know. I don't understand like this whole deal with the number. I just don't care. And I think the whole fat thing is like those are separate issues. Like this is a physical thing. If her having sex with 30 people made her physically unable to have sex with him or something, like it actually changed her labia and it turned BLM labia, then that would be a different
you would
thing.
agree that people choose to date or not date people on other metrics besides just what is physically compatible.
Yes.
So in this case, while maybe the body count thing is a stretch as it relates to like physical compatibility, there's plenty of other components of body count that are valid.
Like what?
Like what?
No, not arguing. I'm like asking you what you.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, the ability to pair bonds.
It did sound sassy when I said that. I meant like.
No, I'm not upset. The ability to pair bond. I mean, the STD thing, but you want to just grant that in this specific instance, well, okay, if there's no STDs. I think it's just a natural. It's just kind of a evolution. There's an evolutionary and biological basis for men's revulsion to this. So there's that. Yeah.
If you were dating someone and they like how she was saying how they like she kept it a secret, like let's say you're dating her for a year and you love her, best girlfriend, like wife, bought an engagement ring already, and she's like, listen, I gotta tell you, I screwed 50 guys. What do you say?
I'm breaking up with her.
See, to me, like you can have that opinion, but to me that's insane. Like you're in love with her.
She lied. She lied.
But,
you said she lied.
The lying is that is such a because. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, the body count shouldn't even be an issue that you have to lie about. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it shouldn't be a thing.
It's the day before our marriage, and she tells me, by the way, Brian,
canceling the wedding and flying your in-laws back to Hawaii. Like, that's crazy.
Yes.
Well, I think my family would understand if that happened.
I believe your family would understand that.
All because of a number,
I mean, this
though.
is my stance. I feel like everyone's allowed to feel how they feel, like I've said, but I also feel.
Well, look. Moving on to number 5, men should pay on first dates. Everybody here, I think, circled, yes, men should pay on first dates, except maybe for Anastasia. Isn't this a double standard? Like, if simply by virtue of you wanting a man to pay for the first date, this creates a double standard. You wouldn't pay for a first date because in order for you to want the man to pay for the first date, you can't pay for the first date.
Well, I think
so why is it that you're allowed to have a desire for a man to do something that you're not willing to do yourself?
Like I wouldn't pay. I would pay for. I think it's whoever.
But how?
Okay, so I'm explaining. So I think.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. You said, would I prefer? Yeah, I would. Like, I think that is just a traditional thing, like how the man pays for the first date. I think that's. Do you think a man should pay for the first date?
Well, for me, I was looking for a wife, so I dated very traditionally and dated traditional women, and yes, I paid for everything.
So I think it's just respectful, but I'm also about like 50-50. Like once we start the second date, I'm paying for it. I'm not about them paying for everything for me. I don't do that. I pay half. When I was in a relationship, he bought one dinner, I bought another dinner. He bought drinks, I bought drinks.
Like, first date.
No, I know. I'm saying the first date. I think especially if he asks you, he should pay. And I think if I ask them on a date, I should pay, I think. If I'm like trying to.
Okay, but hold on. Do you ask men out on dates?
Yes, I do. You don't know me, Brian.
Okay, fine. Most women, fine, you're the exception. Most women are not initiating like that.
And they should. I love that. That's like a powerful thing. A man loves if like, especially if they like you. That's a.
Yeah, I have.
Look,
you wouldn't think it's hot if a girl like came to you and was like, "I want to take you on a date, Brian, and I'm gonna pay for it."
Yeah, you know how many DMs I've slid into?
I mean, I like it when
I think
women
it's getting more
simp.
common now.
The way you worded it came off maybe a little.
What?
I'd prefer a little more feminine touch, but like, yeah, I like it when women simp. I like it when women simp. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean. But they don't do it is the thing.
Yeah.
It's super rare.
Ask men on dates, women. That's great.
But I guess my main thing here with the whole like wrong for high body count man to prefer to date low body count virgin women. I don't think in order to desire a trait in someone that you also need to possess said trait. True. And so we see this all the time in women. Like, I don't think it's hypocritical, for example, for a woman who's broke to find a really wealthy guy attractive or want to date him. I don't think it would make her a hypocrite. A woman who is not a professional athlete, I don't think it's wrong for her to want and to date a professional athlete or to be attracted to professional athletes. A woman who is not a rapper, I don't think it's wrong for her to date a professional rapper or to be attracted to a professional rapper. I don't think it's wrong, like any of these metrics, and women are constantly dating men that have traits that they themselves don't possess. We could talk about height, whatever metric it is. Women are always chasing after men that have things that they don't. I don't think there's perfect symmetry in this regard, but when it comes to like high body count, yeah, I don't think men should be promiscuous, but I don't see an issue with them realizing that it happens to be the case that low body count or virgin women are going to be like optimal girlfriends or wives.
Right.